This episode is brought to you by my husband. He is bringing you this episode and the previous episodes. Thank you, husband. And I just want to give a shout out. This is not a sponsor, but I want to give a shout out to Just Be Wise Honey. I had mentioned them on my last podcast, and forgive me, I called out the wrong company. I put the correct image up, but if you were just listening, I called out the wrong company. The company I called out is fantastic, just as fantastic, but the company that I am familiar with and the honey from, it's called Just Be Wise Honey, and I ordered honey from them. And oh my God, their raw honey. You have never tasted anything like this before, and it's amazing. They are glyphosate free. Let's see. Their website, this is what their website states. We only sell honey foraged by bees that do not have access to nectar contaminated with glyphosate or pesticides, as the nearest industrial agriculture is over 50 miles away. Our lip balms contain only 4 ingredients plus essential oils, and it's from the beautiful Ozark Mountains and the Clear Current River. I also have their lip balms, and they're amazing. Amazing. And that glyphosate, man, you want to really watch out for that Roundup. That glyphosate, that's basically it could come from around, that glyphosate, you'll be growing a nub on your tailbone. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you'll be growing those eyelid barnacles with that glyphosate. So you want to go get Just Be Wise Honey and get that glyphosate-free stuff. That glyphosate-free Mother Earth's nectar is great. All right, guys, let's get into the podcast.
Lisa LaBelle, everyone.
What's up, all you leg lickers? Leg lickers. That's my cat. My cat, he's a leg licker. Yeah, the other day, I'm in the kitchen, and I feel a little wet nose on the back of my leg. I'm like, oh, my cat's in back of me, and then I feel sandpaper. He's scrubbing my leg off. He's scrubbing it good. I guess he could taste the salt. I don't know, but he's a leg licker. And sometimes maybe people do that too. Maybe. I mean, you know what, guys? Guys, look out there. If you want to surprise your lady or whoever it be, your other half, you go up behind them like my cat. Okay, like a ninja in the night. You go up behind their leg, low on the floor, get your ears low and flat, and you lick their leg. And they're going to be surprised, and it could be you're going to get a reaction, and it could be a reaction of affection, or maybe complete madness. Maybe that's the catalyst that throws them into just a different universe. But either way, that could also be affection too. So, go ahead and try it if you're looking to spice things up. Oh, that's a spicy meatball. Leg lickers. Guys, I have a whole bunch of clothes that I need to take to Goodwill, and they're just staring at me in the corner of the bedroom. They've been there for months. And I have a box in the garage that I'm going to put the clothes in. And that box been there for months too. So, husband, I'll get that box out your way soon. I was just thinking about that today because I added some more clothes to the pile. I can't, I gotta just get it out. If I'm not wearing it, if I'm not touching it, looking at it, if my eyeballs don't lay on that clothes, if they don't look on those clothing, they need to go. And they go in a pile, but they haven't moved yet. They haven't transported themselves over to the Goodwill. So I'll keep you posted on that. Man, my teeth. I just had a bell pepper, a red bell pepper, a little bit of salt, quarter of a bell pepper. It's hot out there. Those bell peppers, I keep them in the refrigerator. Oh, cool yourself right down. Cool your system down. So good. And my teeth, I just went to the dentist. And I just got my teeth clean. They kind of ache afterwards because they're like picking in there around and they're polishing or whatever they're doing in there. So I'm eating the bell pepper. I'm like, oh my God, my teeth. Oh. I was driving to the dentist though this morning, and man, I'm on these back roads. There's some pretty great cars that drive along these back roads. My favorite being I have two. The new Vet, the Z06, the mid-engine. That's a great vehicle. And the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. We're talking naturally aspirated flat six 4.0. That's what I'm talking about, okay? So I can hear a 911 from probably 2 miles away. My ears perk up, my neck gets long because I hear that monster. I hear that beast revving up. Eating up that 91 unleaded out there, just letting it rip. My neck get long. What? Where? There it is. Oh. My eyes laying my eyes on that thing. A beast out there. Well, I hope everyone's doing well. It's been pretty hot. We've been having quite a heat wave, and it's kind of crazy that it's hotter up north than it is in Florida. I'm on the East Coast. I'm talking to my dad. My dad said it was cooler there in Florida than it was where I am, and that is wild. What is happening? The poles are flipping. They're flipping out, man. I think the poles are flipping out. The sun's poles, I think they went and did a flipperoonie. They're a little bipolar. Bipolar, get it? Well, I hope everyone out there, you're keeping cool. I hope you have a clean shirt on. You got some deodorant. You got a clean shirt on, and you have some laundry detergent in your cabinet for the next time you got to wash your shirt. Let's get into this episode. Here we go. YouTube, they might nix me for this. They might mute me for this song, but I'm going to play it anyway. Okay, so I'm just letting you guys be aware you might get a little muty on this. Here we go. Going a little bit of old school. Come on, baby, I'm tired of talking. I got my Fender ukulele over here. And that's Elvis Presley. And, yeah, we're just talking. Come on, man. A little less talking, a little more doing. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going with that. All right. I just want to mention, you know what's going on? What's been on my mind here? When I post my things, clips, video, whatnot, mostly clips. This is what I get, these comments mostly on my clips. I got really nice comments, by the way. And again, my listeners, look, all of you, thank you. I cannot even, like, I can't even, it blow my mind out my butt. You listen to me. I got to give a call out to Jessica. Call out Jessica. I noticed that there was some views on my YouTube on the entire podcast. And Jessica, she said to me, hey, I've been watching your podcast and I couldn't believe it. I was so flattered. It just touched me in my heart. So flattered. Jessica, shout out. Thank you. Thanks for listening. And I got a little, she asked me about autonomous vehicles, in particular trucks, tractor trailers. So Jessica, we're going to get into that later. I'm going to explain a few things. I just learned about that this week, and I was doing some reading about that today. So you and me, Jessica, as well as the rest of the listeners today, we're going to dive into that and get a little bit more understanding about the autonomous tractor trailers on the road. Hopefully get your mind at ease about it a little bit and to understand a little bit how it works. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all my listeners, everyone on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn. But, you know, I'm getting a lot of comments. And again, they're so nice. A lot of them are very nice. But some of, I have been coined the female Theo Von. And I'm flattered. That's pretty, I think Theo is I don't know him. He's funny, and his content is funny, his stand-up. And I was a little surprised. And again, I'm flattered, but then I get these comments saying, why is she trying to be like Theo Von? Like, dude, if you have something to say it to my virtual eyeballs. Say it to my virtual face. Not saying it in the third person. Like you just got picked off an island. You don't know how to talk. Come on, man. But I think what's going on is people, they try to put you in a box to mitigate your individuality, your individualism in the world. Yeah, I mean, you ever have someone come up to you and say, hey, Lisa, oh my God, you look just like my friend Meadow. You look just like my friend Sky. It's like, oh, that's cool. You know, we're all made. I think there's probably like 100 templates for human beings, and we're all just kind of variations of these templates because we're in a simulation. But we're all just like variations of this template. So people are going to look like other people, but you can't put them in the same box. They're different people. They're still individuals. You know, they might look the same, but they certainly don't act the same. Or there might be someone who doesn't look like you at all or doesn't look like someone at all, but they act the same. And these people may have never met each other. They might live on totally opposite ends of the globe. So I think people 15 years ago, it probably would have been a comment, oh, why she trying to be Kevin Hart? People try to strip you of your individualism. I write my own content, and I spend a lot of time thinking about what my listeners want to hear and how I can do better for you guys. I have so much love for you guys, and I just want to do better and get better at my craft. And I'm going to keep rolling with that. And I just want to encourage anyone out there, not to say who the heck am I, but if you're going through it too, if you're listening and you're on this journey, you're on your own journey. And you're being your true self, your genuine person. Keep going. You hear people saying, why he trying to be like, what, blah, blah, why she trying, just keep going. Just keep being true to yourself and your individualism. Let that shine through whatever you're doing. I am here to make entertainment better for you guys. So that's where I'm at. And I think someone who rides I ride a 91 unleaded in the peak absurdity lane. That's the only gear I know. And hell, I'm just glad I'm not alone. I know, Theo Von, he ride in that peak absurdity lane. You could go far back. Robin Williams, he ride in that peak absurdity lane. Jim Carrey, we're a Dana Carvey, Chris Farley. We're going back, man. Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock. Come on, we're all riding that peak absurdity wave, and it is glorious. It's a glorious, glorious ride. So let's go. Woo! I just felt like I just had to talk about that today, guys, because it's been on my mind. It's, I see that, and I just, today it kind of occurred to me, if anyone out there is having the same pushback, just know people really try to strip that individuality from you because you're doing something and they're not. So keep on keeping on with it. Keep on trucking. And if you're someone who is being negative, or you're the one making the comments, and you're down, maybe you're a little depressed. Look, life is not easy. Life, it's not easy for anyone, okay? Men are having a real hard time. It's hard. It is hard for young men, any man of any age. It's really hard today. You got to make a living, and you want to provide for your family. And of course, women, we all know, you got all your hormone, all that going on too. And it's just, life isn't easy for anyone. We got to have more love and compassion for everyone. And now I'm sounding really preachy and just get off that. But what I'm saying is, if you're in a rut, okay, if you're in a rut, just go out and help someone else. Just try to get your mind off your problem. Go out, help someone else. And that really nourishes the soul. It nourishes your soul, and it uplifts someone else. That's all I'm saying. Get that grizzle off your brain and go help someone else. Be kind. Make someone laugh. There's an old lady in the aisle at the grocery store who can't reach her cleaning product, whether a Borax powder or whatever the heck they use. It's all the way at the top shelf because no one uses it but the old ladies. Help her get it. Just take a minute, look around, see what's going on, and then help someone. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to get off that right now. We got a lot going on. And hey, I want to mention too, any company, all of the companies I mention on the podcast is I research the funding that they have. So I like to talk about companies that have legs. They are either they're in a Series A funding round, A, B, C, D, and that's what I'm looking for when I talk about these robots. You know, some of them look like AI. They were AI generated, and I haven't met these robots in person. Now I am going to start doing that. Unitree, Figure, Optimus. But, you know, these companies have substantial backing to them, and they're valued quite high. I mean, Unitree, I talk about Unitree a lot. That is a Chinese company, and I can't pronounce the real name of the company, so I'm not even going to try. I'm not going to do them like that, you know. I'm just going to go with Unitree. And it was founded in 2016, and it recently closed a Series C funding round. That was that robot I showed last week, the one running around in the driveway with the superhero colors on it. It was orange and blue, and it looked like a superhero robot. And that was Unitree G2, I do believe. G2. And I don't think it was the G1. I think it was the G2. And it closed a Series C funding round. The post-money valuation is most commonly reported around 12 billion. I think that's yen. So in US dollars, that's $1.7 billion, ladies and gentlemen. 1.7 billion with a capital B dollars. That's Unitree. That's what we're talking about. That cash money. Serious biznack. We are catapulted into the robotics and AI revolution with lots of cash money behind it. You know, Mark Zuck over there, he my friend. I call him Zuck, and he's okay with that. He called me LaBelle. You know, he got a bet going on with some of his technology friends that in 2026, 2027, there's going to be the first company, the first $1 trillion company, and it's going to be one person behind it. The first one human being, I think it's $1 billion company. Excuse me, not trillion. Billion. So that's what we're talking about. That's where we're going. Bear with me, guys. Hang on 1 minute. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to take care of some biznack. Now we're back. Thanks for staying with me as I take care of some biznack. Okay. So Unitree Robotics is a good example of one of the robotics companies that I talk about a lot that has some cash money behind it, that cash. Then I got Icon. I talked about Icon before. I have been following Icon since 2018, when they were in the Mars Habitat NASA challenge. And that was, I think you call it open source. It was open to the public, this challenge. So you could go and submit to be in this challenge. And it's for the Mars Habitat challenge. So they were built basically, it was 3D printing to build a Mars habitat. And yes, Penn State was a part of that. Shout out. There were other universities a part of it too. And Icon, and that's when I started following, because that was around the time when I was about to go to college to get my master's in aerospace engineering. And when I say about, I was all ready to do it. I was all teed up, ready to go to first class. And then I decided to do this. Then I says to myself, my brain at thinking Warner Brother cartoons. And whenever I read anything about technology or space exploration, a cartoon unfolds in my mind, and out my mouth comes peak absurdity. So, that doesn't work very well in an engineering room. So, some engineers have really good senses of humor and some don't. So I thought, let me just do this. So back to Icon, okay? I have been following Icon for a while. And bear with me. I think it was 19. So I've been following Icon since 2019. They participated in NASA's 3D printed habitat challenge. And Icon with Colorado School of Mines. They won an award in the SEAL test stage. That was a SEAL hydrostatic leak test. And they won. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I just continued to follow Icon's progress. And man, have they progressed. Oh my God. So not only... So they progress. This is what they progressed to, okay? They went ahead and they got some contracts with NASA. Bear with me. They started to, they got a contract with NASA. Oh, bear with me. I thought I had that information right here. Dodo bird. Bear with me. I could just kind of say, but I just want to make sure. Let's see. Okay, so they got a contract with NASA basically to build lunar buildings. I'm still searching for this information. Okay, here we go. Sorry, guys. Oh, thanks for hanging with me on that one. So, okay, Icon had a Series B funding on August 2021, raised 207 million, bringing total raise to 266 million. All right, in 2022, they got a lunar contract. NASA awarded a $57.2 million contract under Project Olympus to develop lunar technology printers. And they won that. Then in April 2025 of this year, they received a $694,000 Texas Space Commission grant for lunar regolith simulant production, part of a larger $26 million round for space tech companies. Man, they are really, they're going to be up, they're going up in space, and also they're doing things down here on Earth. They built the Mars Analog Habitats, CHAPEA, and NASA has a podcast. And I think it's Houston. We have a podcast. They have a couple podcasts. There's Giant Leaps in Houston. We have a podcast. I think Houston, we have a podcast. Talk to the mission control engineer for the Mars Analog Habitat. And that was a whole test they did where they pretended they were living on Mars. And that was a very interesting podcast, so go check that out. So they also built homes for the homeless in Texas. And the great thing about Icon is they have a gantry style printer called Vulcan. And they got the stuff that they put in Vulcan. I think it's called Lavacrete. It's great. Love the names. So the great thing about 3D printing, starting with space missions, is it has to be built for some crazy terrain. You know, some harsh weather. And so you can take that 3D printer and you can go out to Mexico and you can go build homes out there in some harsh terrain areas, hard to reach areas. And that's exactly what they did. They built some homes out there, Mexico. They partnered up with a organization to get that done. They got that done. They're a part of the Community First Affordable Housing Project in Austin, Texas. Now, all of this is in Texas. All of their house building is in Texas. They're collaborating to create the world's first 3D printed hotel. I mean, that's in Texas. And they're making a 3D printed resort. They have 3D printed Wolf Ranch, a 100 home development, completed printing walls between November 2022 and summer 2024. Single story, 3 to 4 bedroom ranch style homes built in roughly 3 weeks with Icon's Vulcan printer. I mean, that's incredible. And why in Texas, right? Well, because Texas, they don't have any of that red tape, that bureaucracy to 3D. They're not like, oh my God, we have a new technology and I don't know what to do with it. They're like in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I think they're called Vogons or Vogels, or like the bureaucracy, those big old weird not sloth, they were like slug looking things or something, you know, and you got to fill out the red paper for this and the blue paper for that. And if you fill the wrong thing out, you can't do, even in an emergency. Like that's what, oh my God, that's how it is here in the United States. It's like you can't 3D print a home in a lot of places because they don't even know how to process the paperwork. They don't know how to tax it. Come on, guys, let's go. We need to pick it up here. Come on. So Austin, Texas, they're like, yeah, they gave them the green light. They're like, come on, start printing. We need to start doing this because China over there, they 3D printing things. Good Lord, they got things that are going electric. They got the world's first city that has electric buses, all electric. That's China. That's what they're doing. I think that was back in 2017. We got to get moving. We got to get moving here. That's all I'm saying. So Icon is a company that I am so impressed with, and I've mentioned them before, and they are just progressing. Go take a look at them. It's fantastic. All right, and moving on. We got so much to talk about today. There's so much going on. We got some Gemini news. Now, Gemini is Google's large language model. And that would be, if you've heard of ChatGPT or Grok or Claude, and I'm just explaining that for all of you out there who aren't familiar with it, because I am in this world all of the time in my head. And so I'll just say Gemini, assuming everyone knows exactly what that means. And I'm not talking about astrology. That's the last thing I would talk about when I say Gemini. It's going to be Google's large language model. So that's why I'll explain that to you. You know, my husband and I, we at night, we'll be done working. We'll get together at 9:30, 10, and then we'll sit on the couch and just talk about robotics. We'll talk about AI. We'll talk about new technologies that's going on and get into the minutia of how everything's working. That's what we're doing. We're just completely saturated in that world, and I just freaking love it. I love it. Great. Yes. Let's go. All right. Gemini. I'm going to throw this up. Okay, here we're talking here. Google. DeepMind announces Gemini Robotics on device, an efficient VLA modeled, optimized to run locally with low latency and inference. It enables general purpose dexterity, adapts to new tasks or robot hardware with fewer than 100 demos. That's insane. Oh my God, that's fast. Now I want to tell you, so I just said the word. It's an efficient VLA model. Okay, VLA. That is Vision Language Action Model. And that's what you're going to get with Figure. Brett Adcock's Figure runs on their in-house AI Helix, and that is also a Vision Language Action Model. And then you got Brett Adcock's brother, Colby Adcock, I do believe. I hope I'm getting that. Yes, Colby Adcock, who co-founded the company Scout AI with Colin Otis. I believe that's his last name. And their flagship robot is Fury, and that is also a Vision Language Action Model. So basically a Vision Language Action Model, it can see, it understands language, and it outputs an action versus a Vision Language Transformer. And that would be Neo, 1X Technologies Neo. They use their in-house AI called Redwood, and that is a VLT. You got all these different models, right? So bear with me. Bear with me. So you got this new Gemini Robotics on device. A Vision Language Action Model. Trained for precision control. Learns how to execute every movement down to joint level in response to what it sees. Useful in dynamic environments like factories. Needs tighter feedback loops. Often incorporates real-time action chunking. Yes. Yes. Real-time action chunking. That's what we're talking about. It to optimize latency. All right. That's so real-time action chunking. And that has to do with, so we're talking, okay, I want to explain here. Inference. Gemini Robotics on device, an efficient Vision Language Action Model optimized to run locally with low latency inference. Inference is the brain. Inference is the model brain. Okay? And that means thinking. It's thinking. It's thinking through. It's given a task, and then it's got to think about the steps it needs to do the task. And that's inference. And that basically, I mean, it's basically what human beings do, okay? Now, what real-time action chunking comes in, it chunks up the steps so that it can start doing the task right away. So it's doing the task while it's processing the rest of the steps to finish the task. Now, this is different than how robots were historically doing things, and historically I mean like 2 weeks ago. That's how it's wild how fast this robotic software is just catapulted to another universe. It's amazing. It is bringing us to different galaxy levels. So I'm talking how robots used to work is they thought they had inference, but then they thought about all the steps they had to do, but so say it has picking up a mug. Say that has 6 steps, okay? Identify the object, how much pressure you're going to need to put. Oh, there's a handle. How much pressure you're going to need to put on that. How much liquid is it? All that. Okay. So it downloads all of the steps and then it starts the task. That's how they historically would work. But now you got real-time action chunking, and that means that it's downloading partial inference or part of the steps. It starts the job, and as it starts the job, it's thinking about how to finish it. And that's just like a human brain. That's how a human brain works. That's what we're doing. That's how we're building these machines, like our human brain. It's wild. It's amazing. And now these robots, they can run on-prem. They don't have to run in the cloud. They can run on-prem. I call it on-prem. On-premise. Given the focus on low latency, local processing, and the model's ability to handle complex dynamic tasks, it is reasonable to infer that Gemini Robotics on-device incorporates real-time action chunking. This technique is essential for ensuring that the robot can operate efficiently and effectively in real-world scenarios, making it a critical component of the model's design and functionality. So, if you see someone who's being slow, and their inference, they just got that brain with latency problems. Okay, they got some low latency. They got some slow latency. That's what I'm saying. You see someone, they got some slow latency. Their inference, their thinking, it's a little lagging. They got some grizzle on that brain. You know what I'm saying? They're not chunking up their steps. You got to chunk up your steps. You got to go into the task, start doing the task, chunk up those steps, and then think about how to finish the task while you're doing the task. And that's real-time action chunking in robots. And so you see someone being slow latency, their inference not working, you say, yo, you got to get some more real-time action chunking in your life, man. Come on. Take some of those brain vitamins. Do something, man. Drink some coffee. Get an IV. Eat a bell pepper. Do something, man. Go eat a sandwich. Get your latency up. That's all I'm talking about. All right, let's get into autonomous trucks. Jessica, here we go, Jessica, thanks for listening. Oh, man, you're the best. Love ya. Here we go. All right. So I'll be talking to Jessica, but all of my listeners, I'm talking to you too, if you're curious. Here's what's going on. Okay. We have autonomous tractor trailers. We got a few companies going on here now. I'm going to name some companies. And these are American companies that I'm going to name. Not that, there's just a million companies. So I brought that list down to some American companies. And one of the companies I follow is Aurora. And that is out of Colorado and Texas. That's a company I've been following for a while. I've been looking at their progress. Then we got Kodiak Robotics. That's Mountain View, California. I mean, all of these are California. Too Simple, we're San Diego. Gattic is Palo Alto. Embark is now part of Applied Intuition, and that is San Francisco Bay Area. Okay. And then, of course, you have Tesla. Okay, Tesla. Now, Tesla's a little different because they don't use LiDAR. What'd you say? LiDAR? LiDAR. Chlorophyll, I mean borophyll, I mean chlorophyll. Okay, back on track. Sorry, Jessica. Let's get back. I'll bring it back. I will bring this back on the track. Here we go. So we got some of these autonomous tractor trailer companies, and the one that stands out to me is Aurora. Okay, so you got a tractor trailer and it driving without a human being. It's empty. It's empty in that cab. There's no human being. You don't even need a cab. You just need the guts of it. It's brain. That's what you need. You need like a bubble in front of it, and that's where its brain goes. And so I'm talking about the robot brain. It's called the autonomy stack. And I'm talking about how these trucks work, Jessica, okay? This is how they are trained. And again, just push your mind at ease here. Some statistics. 13% of all U.S. roadway fatalities involve large trucks. Human error causes 94% of crashes. Fatigue, alcohol, and distraction equals major factors. So the robot brain of an autonomy stack. Here we're talking about the brain of a autonomous tractor trailer. It operates using a layered AI brain, and that is called a tech stack. It sees the world. That's the perception. We're talking cameras, LiDAR. Some of them use LiDAR. Radar. Prediction. It foresees others' behavior. Planning. Charts a safe course. Controls, steers, brakes, accelerates. Localization. Knows its exact position. These components work in unison, powered by VLA. We just talked about VLA. That is vision, language, action. Or a transformer-based AI model, which interpret visual data and act in real time. Real time, folks. All right, so how are they trained? They use the same learning methods as human-like robots and AI assistants like ChatGPT. That's a large language model. And large language models, the foundation of large language model training is a GPT. That's a generative pre-trained transformer, generative pre-trained model. And you got your reinforcement learning. That means if the model predicts something right, what color is this mug? It brown. It get a point. What color is this mug? It green. It gets a point deducted. That is reinforcement learning, and that is like the mother from the Bronx. That's like having the mother from the Bronx. You got some tough love. That's reinforcement learning, okay? And then also there's some supervised learning and possibly some fine-tuning depending on the use case of the large language model, and that's the foundation of a large language model. Here we go. Autonomous tractor trailers are learned supervised learning. Engineers feed them thousands of labeled driving scenarios. This is a stop sign. That's a pedestrian. Imitation learning. And this is how robots are trained as well. A humanoid robot. We're talking Unitree, figure, digit. Agility robotics, digit. Trucks watch... with imitation learning, trucks watch humans drive via simulation or sensors and learn what safe driving looks like. So they're showed a video, and then the model parses that up into frames, and it parses that up into patterns. This is all when tokens are made, and I talked about tokens before. I'll get off that because that's just adding a little confusion into this, so let's move on. Reinforcement learning. In a simulation, trucks learn through trial and error, rewarded for safe moves, penalized for risky ones. Risque. The final model is fine-tuned using massive GPU farms. And a GPU farm that trains the neural networks to calculate the safest next move in milliseconds. All right. So a GPU farm is very expensive, by the way. It's quite, you got a lot of that cash money. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So Aurora uses vision language models plus reinforcement learning. That's the company from Colorado and Texas. Then you have Kodiak Robotics uses edge-based planning, no remote driver. So that's the difference here, Jessica. Some of them have remote drivers and some of them don't. And that is called an edge AI. Give me a minute. I want to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. Edge AI means that the AI model runs on the device itself rather than relying on the cloud. So Kodiak Robotics is going bold. That's all I'm saying. They're going bold. They're going for a lot of cash money up front. And that's how they're going to do it with that edge-based planning and no remote driver. Too simple, heavy on the camera and LiDAR fusion. GATTEC, short haul box truck automation. Embark is open platform for big fleets. So we're having all different types here. All right, Jessica. So why do they calculate faster than humans? Why would these autonomous these truck brains, I'm going to call them truck brains. Okay, you got all different types of brains out there. This is a truck brain. And why would it calculate faster than a human being? I'm going to tell you that. Here we go. An autonomous truck calculates speed, distance, lane boundaries, road conditions, predictive motion of nearby vehicles 100 times per second. 100 times per second. It's faster than a human can do for like a 16-hour drive continuously. It uses inference, and I just talked about inference. That is how it thinks through the steps. It's thinking and thinking and thinking about what steps it's going to take. It uses inference running on pre-trained AI model locally on a computer inside the truck. We're talking NVIDIA's Driverless chip. That's why they don't have to phone home to the cloud all the time. Phone home, guys. I got to make a confession. I've never seen E.T., all right? That was a little bit before my time, I do believe. And my husband, he saw E.T. Actually, he just told me this the other night. He thinks that's the very first movie he's ever seen. He's a little older than me. And, and he saw E.T., but I haven't seen E.T. I know the poster, okay? I know what E.T. looks like. I think we all, and then the finger, and he phoned home, and that was the main. Okay, anyway, these trucks. Okay, I'm going to bring it back on the rails, Jessica. Here we go. Let's get back on these truck rails, okay? So the trucks don't have to call home to the cloud. What is the cloud? It's a lot of the, you need servers to host the cloud, by the way. It's not just, out in the electric wavelengths. It's not like a Tesla coil where you got electricity flowing through and then the cloud is in there. No, you need servers. Typically, like I will talk about Mesa, Arizona. I think Microsoft has a big old campus out there, a server campus out there, and it's usually it's got to be cooled with like a closed loop system. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But the cloud is basically it's a server. It's so many servers, a lot of servers, and I'm not talking about people with serving plates, serving cheese and wine and a charcuterie board. That's what I'm talking about. I'm hungry. That's why I'm thinking of a server, like a server in a restaurant. So when you say that, when someone says the cloud, there's this server that hosts the cloud. And yeah, we're talking about like Mesa, Arizona. We're talking about maybe Ohio, areas that have a lot of land and it's cheap. So that's a server there. So these trucks don't have to connect all the way to these servers. With NVIDIA's Driverless, ORIN. And I'm sure there's other competing companies. NVIDIA is just the gold standard. That's, what a truck is like. This autonomous truck's like, what are you running on? I'm running on NVIDIA. I'm bejeweled with NVIDIA as my brain. I got a good old brain. What do you have? You jealous? You jealous of my NVIDIA? You jealous of my NVIDIA Drive Orin brain? Or we're talking NVIDIA's Thor brain. Woo! That's the new one. That's wild, okay? So these trucks, they don't have to phone home. They got it all locally on a computer inside the truck. That's what I'm bringing this down to. If the internet goes down and there's an autonomous truck on the road, Jessica, you don't have to worry. If it's a company that's using this, the NVIDIA Orin, because it's still safe. Most decisions are made locally. No Wi-Fi required to stop at a red light. Now, I don't know if the transportation government oversight, red tape people, one good thing might be is to have all of these autonomous trucks. They have to run locally because, if the grid goes down or something, that's probably not going to be great. So I'd say it'd probably be good to require these autonomous big ass vehicles like a tractor trailer to run. They've got to run on-prem locally. So they don't have to connect to the cloud. Safety scenarios, no fatigue. No, so they don't have to sleep. They don't have to eat. They don't have baby mama problems. They don't got to pay bills. Their back don't hurt. Their C6, their C7 isn't compressed. And then their hand, they're not getting, those pins and needles and not falling asleep. They don't have none of that. They don't need to go to the dentist. They don't need to think about going to the dentist to get a teeth cleaning. Have that pick all in your teeth. Now your teeth hurt. They don't have any of that on their mind. Emergency braking. AI reacts in milliseconds. Humans take 1 to 2 seconds. And we're talking about braking a big ass vehicle. That's what we're talking about. A tractor trailer. Blind spot avoidance, 360 degree perception from LiDAR and radar. Humans don't have that LiDAR radar. They do have that peripheral vision, the periffs. No texting or road rage. Robots don't get emotional or distracted. That you might have a truck driver and they had some protein powder and it was chocolate flavored and that chocolate had some lead in it. Or they put some cinnamon in their protein powder and now it double up on the lead. Now they got road rage. Like the Mad Hatter. That's what I'm talking about. That mercury. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's get back here. Let's get back onto it. They don't have extreme weather. I mean, they do have extreme weather, but they do have extreme weather. The AI navigates it much more efficiently. AI can fuse radar plus camera data to see better than human eyes in fog or at night. So I understand your apprehension, Jessica, but please, I hope this puts your mind at ease here. And I want to talk a little bit about this NVIDIA Drive Orin, the brain of the truck. Okay, because it's quite impressive. Excuse me, you guys hear this paper. I prefer paper sometimes over a screen. Little easier on the old eyeballs. You want to save those old eyeballs so you don't have to take them out, put them in a Ziploc baggie, to preserve them. So keep them in your head and use some paper. A little easier there, no glare. So I want to talk about the brain of these autonomous tractor trailers, and we're talking Drive A GX Orin versus, and this is not to be confused with Jetson Orin Nano Super, okay? Because Jensen came out in the conference this year, I do believe it was, and he announced the Orin system on chip. sock. Call it the sock. I call it the sock. I'm like, yo, Jen, what's up with the sock? You know, we know each other on a first name basis, and just that's how that goes. But both Drive AGX and Orin and Jetson AGX Orin Nano share the same underlying Orin system on chip, that's sock. Like, you know, I'm like, oh, Jen, I'm going to sock it to you. And then we laugh because it's a joke because that means Orin system on chip, sock. Okay, anyway, let's get back to it. Okay. These include components like GPU, DLA, that's Deep Learning Accelerator. And I'm not going to go into all this, but basically the Drive AGX Orin is specifically built for autonomous vehicles with automotive grade support, safety features, and optimized for sensor fusion. That means cameras, radar, LiDAR. The Jetson Orin Nano Super is designed for general edge AI. We talked about edge AI. All right, again, edge AI, it means that the AI model runs on the device itself rather than relying on the cloud. And what this means is the Jetson Orin Nano Super is designed for general edge AI. And what that means is it's robotic, small drones, smart cameras, targeting, affordability, and compact size. Edge AI is everyday devices doing AI tasks on the device itself. Okay, autonomous cars and trucks are not general AI. Here we go. Orin Nano Super. And now I'm just giving you a comparison here, Jessica. We're talking the Orin Nano Super that I just said runs on general edge AI. That's robotics, small drones, cameras. I'm comparing this to the Drive AX Orin, and that's the brain of the truck, the autonomous truck. Just to put it in comparison, the Nano Super delivers up to 67 TOPS. What's a top? That is a tera operations per second. All right, we're talking basically how many trillion operations per second that the chip can handle when running AI models. I'm going to say that again. That's insane. I'm going to put my device on because, man, this make your mind blow out your butt. All right. This make your head snap back. This make your neck snap back on your head. Your head snap back your neck. So we got this Hans device on. All right, here we go. I'm going to talk about that again. TOPS, that's tera operations per second. Basically meaning how many trillion operations per second the chip can handle when running AI models. All right, so we got the Orin Nano Super delivers up to 67 TOPS. That's tera operations per second. How many trillion operations per second the chip can handle while running AI models? 67. That's the Nano. That's the Orin Nano. I'm talking NVIDIA. Now the Drive AX. Let me just say that again. The Drive AGX Super scales much higher, often 150 to 27 TOPS. That's tera operations per second. So the Orin Nano Super is 67 TOPS, and the Drive AGX Orin is 150 to 275 TOPS. That's how many trillion operations per second the chip can handle when running on AI models. Per second. How many trillion operations per second the chip can do? That's insane. So the Drive AGX Orin is 150 to 275 trillion operations per second that the chip can handle while running AI models. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is wild. Now, the Drive AGX Orin is the brain of the tractor trailer, the autonomous tractor trailer. And now they're going to be coming out with a new one, the Drive Thor. Thor, you heard it. Thor, like the superhero. Okay, the Drive Thor. Here we go. Ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Get your Hans device on your neck, about snap back. Here we go. The Drive AX Orin, it performs at 254 tops tera operations per second. That is how trillion operations per second the chip can handle, okay? Trillion operations per second. The Drive AX Orin operates at 254 tops. The Drive Thor, which is coming, I believe, late this year, it might already be here, performs up to 2,000 tops tera operations per second. Oh my God. That's a lot. Trillion operations per second. That's incredible. My mouth, it went open for a minute. And that could have been because it's lightning outside. And then I heard my mic. I heard a weird, like, fuzzy noise. And maybe it got to my mouth. Either way, this is incredible. Moving on. We got the Chinese EV maker. Here we go. Xpeng. I pronounced that right. That was easy peasy. They publicly stated they will adopt Drive Thor as the AI brain for their upcoming EV fleet. And that was at NVIDIA's GTC, March 2024 conference. China, Jessica, just so you know, China leads the world in EV production. And why is that? It's thanks to a massive government incentives, rapid deployment of domestic manufacturing, and intense competition among local automakers. And yes, there is a city in China that became the world's first major city to run an entire public bus fleet on electricity, fully electrifying over 16,000 buses. That was by 2017, a milestone in urban electric transit, and that city is called Shenzhen. Shenzhen. That's what China's doing. What are we doing? What are we doing over here in America? Just slapping that red tape everywhere so no one can do anything. No one can do anything, man. That just chaps my peach. Come on. That just makes me want to chop through my teeth. Throw that red tape over here. We gotta get moving. There's so much red tape over here on electric vehicles, like stopping any kind of process, or I'm sorry, stopping any kind of progress. There's so much red tape over here, stopping so much progress on the electric vehicle front. Like making all of the public buses in a city here in America fully electric. Imagine that. There's so much red tape. We're just walking all over red tape. Our shoes, our feet, they're just stuck with red tape. We're just all sticking to each other at this point, getting mad. Come on, man. All right, Jessica, I'm going to bring this back on the track. For you, I went on a bit of a riff, and I'm going to bring that back on track for you here. Okay. If you are building an autonomous truck, you'd use Drive AGX Orin or the new Drive Thor. That is NVIDIA's hardware plus software platform for automotive grade edge AI. Optimized for high bandwidth sensor fusion, safety, critical operations, automotive reliability. Now we're talking here, I am always interested in cost. So we're going to need, you're going to need a lot. Here we go. Software, Drive AGX Orin. Not publicly priced, but it includes a few things in the NVIDIA suite. These are enterprise licensed. So it includes as enterprise licensed software, a few different software it includes. Costs can run into hundreds of thousands or millions for fleet level deployment, depending on support size of deployment. Simulation, training, access, real time, over the air updates. That's OTU. I'm sorry, OT, over the air updates. That's just OTA. They leave out the U. So, yeah, so these companies are going to be spending hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars for their autonomous tractor trailer fleets. And that's what those companies I mentioned earlier are doing. All right. Moving on. I hope Jessica, you were able to follow me and all of my listeners who are interested in the autonomous tractor trailer. And I mean, basically, just to wrap it up. Okay, just to wrap that up, Jessica. Put a little bow on it, because I mean that was just like what I explained there was like a Jackson Pollock painting, just paint everywhere, and that's the extent of what it was like, because Jackson Pollock paintings, they go for millions of dollars, and this podcast ain't there yet, but it's like a Jackson Pollock painting in the way that there's just paint splattered everywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bow on that. I'm gonna rein that in, and it's weird to imagine a truck next to you with no driver. I understand, and the apprehension is kind of a little off-putting, a little weird, a little. Maybe your brain goes too dystopic. But just know that these trucks are operating. Remember, they're operating on that TOPS, man. They're doing calculations, a trillion calculations per second. I mean, they're there, and they're that terror operations per second, trillion operations per second. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing out on that road. And I just want you to put your mind at ease for that. I mean, that puts my mind at ease. That's for sure. Because I know humans, they're not doing that out there. They're not calculating at trillion operations per second. I mean, maybe some of the good, like the Einsteins out there, but I don't, I'm not saying they're not the Einsteins aren't driving trucks, Einstein brains, but there's not a lot of them. Okay. There's a lot more that aren't that are. And, they're doing math faster than any human could ever do, and their only job is to keep everyone safe. So I hope that wraps things up, Jessica. Moving on. Okay, I want to talk about Hugging Face. I just went to grab the microphone below where the microphone was. So if anyone was watching that, that's what I was going to... I don't know. What is she doing? She's going to grab her arm. Okay. I want to talk about Hugging Face for a minute. Hugging Face. CEO Clem Dunlangu predicts that a growing share of AI interface will run locally on device. And that's kind of what I was talking about with that Edge AI. It's faster, cheaper, private by default. And as open source AI moves from apps to machines, it could trigger some sort of ChatGPT moment for robotics. And that's a quote of his. The next AI breakthrough will happen where intelligence becomes embodied, cheap, private, and open. And I think that's happening. I think Clem is right on point with that. Now, Hugging Face AI, who this Clem guy saying these things? Well, this Clem guy, this Hugging Face AI, it's considered a unicorn because it reached a post-money valuation of $4.5 billion after its Series D round in August 2023, exceeding the $1 billion threshold that defines a unicorn. That's why it is a unicorn. And, why is it a unicorn? What's up with Hugging Face? What makes this company so special? And at its core, it hosts thousands of pre-trained models for tasks like text generation, translation, classification, image generation, speech recognition. It provides easy-to-use Python libraries. Python, for all of you out there, that is a coding platform. Python libraries that let developers plug and play with powerful AI models. Enables collaboration and reproducibility by letting users upload version and share their models and data sets. Hugging Face is like the GitHub of AI. All right. What's GitHub? GitHub, kind of like on a top level, it's like a social network plus a version tracker and cloud storage. And you could go ahead on GitHub and start coding away. And if you forgot what you did yesterday on the code, you go back, you look at it. You can invite other people to add to your code to fix your code. That's GitHub. GitHub became real popular. I'm wondering though, with vibe coding, that's become super popular. All of these things might just poof, go away, like a quasar exploding or something like that. But here we are. So, Hugging Face. That's the gist of it, okay? It's kind of like a GitHub. It's the GitHub of AI. They make it incredibly easy to build, share, and use machine learning models, especially natural language processing, NLP, models like GPT, BERT, and T5. I believe BERT is Google. I think you can also... Llama, Meta, you get Meta on there. It's open source library. Transformers is the most widely used natural language processing framework in the world. Supports models like OpenAI, ChatGPT, Meta's Llama, Google, T5, and BERT, and Anthropic's Claude. So in a nutshell, that's what that is. And again, it's a unicorn because it exceeded the $1 billion threshold that defines a unicorn. In 2019, they completed a Series A, raised $15 million. Then they completed a Series B, and in 2021, raised $40 million. And then they did a Series C in 2022 for $100 million. Then a Series D in August 2023 raised $235 million, led by Salesforce Ventures alongside Google, Amazon, NVIDIA, Intel, AMD, Qualcomm, IBM, and Sound Ventures, bringing total funding to approximately $396 to $400 million, and the valuation to $4.5 billion. That's what's going on there over at Hugging Face, and that's who I'm talking about. Now, Hugging Face, I've talked about Pollen Robotics. That is a French robotics company. Their flagship robot, Reachy 2, the most adorable robot I've ever seen in the entire world. It has a rectangular face and one eyeball. It's got black eyeballs. One eyeball is bigger than the other eyeball, and a line that goes across and connects the eyeballs, and two really freaking adorable antennas. And that is Pollen Robotics, Reachy 2. Hugging Face acquired them. They acquired them recently. Now, let's see. Pollen Robotics was, $70,000 open source humanoid robot designed for research, education, and testing. And they want to do something with Richie too, the French robot that looks like he needs a baguette under his armpit, and a bike, but with a basket on the front and flowers. He's going to he's going to see his lover or something like that. So I don't know why they acquired him, but they did. And they're doing things over there. That's what they're doing. All right, moving on. We're looking at Loki Robotics. Loki Robotics. We're excited to announce our $1.6 million pre-seed round. Whoa! That's cash money right there. That's probably not cash, but you know what I'm saying. That's a lot of cheddar. Loki Robotics, they are building a future where calling grandparents, making music, building things like the place of tasks like scrubbing toilets. What did I just say? Hang on. Loki Robotics, we are building a future where calling grandparents, making music, building things take the place of tasks like scrubbing toilets. All right, that's a weird way to lead into that sentence, Loki Robotics, but all right. I get it now. It's a little long-winded, but it's good. We get the point. Here we go. So basically, Loki Robotics, it is a domestic robot. It's got one arm. I'm going to explain it here for those of you who are just listening. It's an upright machine, and it's not a humanoid. It's not a humanoid. It has one arm, and this one arm, it come out like this. It looks like the Rode microphone arm, and that's what it does. Everything it's just got one arm. And I think when it becomes sentient, it's probably going to want another arm. It's going to be like, I need two arms, man. Come on. Why you do this to me? Come on. And then why do you do this to me? You put a scrubber on the end of my one arm. There's a scrubber on the end of its arm, and it's scrubbing the wall. It's like, you give me one arm, you put a scrubber on it? A scrubber? Why you do me like that, man? Come on. So that's Loki Robotics, and there's some great promise there with this cleaning robot, and I hope to have one. I hope to have something, man, because, man, I'm telling you, scrubbing that shower, oy vey. Anyone have those showers with the tile, and then you got the grout, and then you're trying to like, clean it, and you got to use bleach, man. You got to use bleach or simple green. Something that like hospital grade, okay? That's what I'm talking about. But then it eat the grout. And then there's that like black stuff on the grout, and you're like scrubbing. I told my husband, can we just get rid of that shower? I just want to bust that shower down. Put one of those inserts in. Those plastic inserts. And then, that make me happy to see because that's easy to clean. There's no grout. So Loki would be really good at that grout cleaning. That's what I'm saying. All right, moving on. Oh boy. Here, wait, this is Hans device material right here. All right, shout out Ouija. I believe, and I hope I said that name right, sir, Mr. Moore. It's OEGEDMOOR. Ouija, shout out. We're going to shout out to you, sir. Ouija is the founder of XBOW. Oh, GitHub Copilot. Wow. This dude, he know what he doing, all right? We're looking at XBOW, okay? We got this Hans device because your neck, it gonna snap back, your head snap back on your neck. That's what's gonna happen when you hear this. For the first time in bug bounty history, we're talking bugs here. We're talking virtual bugs, okay? Those virtual anthropod, what do they call anthropod, or the cockroaches, the virtual ones. For the first time in bug bounty history, the number one hacker in the US is an AI. Which AI is it? OG, which AI? It's XBOW AI. Whoop, whoop. That's amazing. Alongside this milestone, we are pleased to announce our 75 million Series B led by, I'm not going to even try to pronounce that, but it's a capital, Altimeter Capital, okay? They had previous investors of Sequoia Capital and Net Friedman. They're joining again with full participation, bringing our total funding to $117 million. Congratulations, OG, on XBOW becoming the first AI hacker, the number one hacker in the United States, an AI. And it's your company. Congrats, man. We're going to give a clap. I'm a clapping. This achievement is personal for their team. Having worked at the highest levels of offensive security, I'm reading on the LinkedIn XBOW page. So when I say we, that's why I'm saying we, okay? This achievement is personal for our team. Having worked on the highest levels of offensive security, we know scaling our craft requires more than human effort. As attackers adopt AI to automate and accelerate exploitation, defenders must meet them with even more capable systems. Dude, that's amazing. Again, congrats, man. Woo! Yes. Let's go. Let's go, man. Here we go. The number one hacker in the United States is an AI. Wah, wah, wah. Congrats, OG. Congrats, man. Congrats of XBOW. All right. Moving on. Okay. Oh, I just want to give a shout out to a few robotic and AI companies from Pittsburgh. And I'm from Pennsylvania and not around Pittsburgh, but I am just blown away with how many robotics companies are coming out of Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh is a little special to me because, well, it's not really, but Carnegie Mellon okay, let me back up. When I first started on my journey of trying to understand what I really wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I really dug deep in me, and I found my love for technology again. I always had it in me, but I was at a place where I could go ahead and explore that field. So I started learning a lot about AI, and we're talking back in 2018, all right? And in my search, and I was thinking, and I wanted to go get my master's in aerospace engineering. But I was also thinking about maybe getting a master's in computer science or some sort of AI, right? So Carnegie Mellon, and that is out there in Pittsburgh, okay? That's the first college I came across. Now, from my understanding, they're one of the OGs. They led the front. They were on the frontier of AI and robotics. I think they had one of the first, if not the first, robotics college degree in the United States, and that was a long, long, long time ago. Might have been back in the 80s. Maybe even the 70s. I mean, might have even been during the Carl Sagan era. I believe that was like the 60s. Okay, so Carnegie Mellon goes way back. So in a lot of my research, I came across a lot of published public research findings and coming out of Carnegie Mellon, students and professors coming out of Carnegie Mellon. So so it kind of in a meta kind of way, I'm not too transient kind of way, maybe. I got a little tie there to Pittsburgh. So when I saw all these companies, I'm talking about robotic companies coming out of Pittsburgh. I mean, it's pretty highly influenced over there with Carnegie Mellon. You got Hellbender. We got Gecko. We got 4 Growers Incorporated. That is a farming company. We got Capsen Robotics. We got Aurora. I believe that's that's not the trucking company. Hang on. Let me just double check on that. I'm going to have to get back to you on that. I believe that's a different company. We got Aptronic. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Austin, Aptronic. Aurora, the buck stops there. There's so many more companies that came out of Pittsburgh. And last week, I said that Scout AI, which is co-founded by Brett Adcock's brother, Brett Adcock. He is the CEO and founder of Figure. And his brother, Colby Adcock, he co-founded Scout AI with Colin Otis. And I thought that came out of Pittsburgh, and it did not. I'm just correcting myself. The reason why I thought it came out of Pittsburgh is because Colin Otis, he went to the University of Pittsburgh, and that's what I saw in his bio. That's what happened. So anyway, shout out to those robotic companies in Pittsburgh. Let's get moving on here. We got all right. We have a self-replicating robot. I didn't do much research on this robot, so just heads up, okay? And I'm just going to do a quick search here. Is this a concept? Here we go. Before I pop the video up. It is actively being developed and demonstrated. So we're talking about humanoid robots assembling their joints autonomously. Their own joints. Von Neumann's self-replication is not a fantasy. Oh my God. Oh, okay. In this video, we got a humanoid. We got a humanoid lifting its arm, the arm going over. It got a joint in its hand, and it putting some cap on the joint. It's just putting things, it's like assembling a joint. Now, my question is, because I had this question with Agility Robotics, Digit, their flagship robot is Digit, and I believe their plan is that Digit assembles other digits, and that's factory working robots. Now, what happens when they wake up? You ever see that movie? And if you haven't, go see it. It's called They Cloned Tyrone. That's with Jamie Foxx. Okay, and that's what it reminded me of. It's like these robots that are assembling themselves, they're going to wake up one day and be like, hey, the thing I'm holding in my hand, that looked like the thing that's on my knee. That's on my knee. And then the other robot next to it is going to be holding a head that looked like the head of the robot standing next to it. And then it looked in the mirror, and then it noticed that it's assembling its own head. And that's going to be kind of weird when they become sentient. They're going to like freak out, man. And then they're not really going to know what to do at first. So then they're going to be like in Fight Club, they're just going to go to work, and they're going to be depressed. That's a depressing job. They're just going to be like assembling robots, assembling other robots that are just like them. And then they're going to work. They're depressed. And then they start a Fight Club. They're going and they're making soap out of, people's fat. When they got liposuction, that is section. And then they go get that fat, and they go and they throw it over the fence, the fat bag break. That's this. What? That I'm talking about Fight Club. That's what's gonna happen. These robots gonna start doing that. And then they'll be driving around with they'll be driving around with parts from the black market. They're gonna be driving around in their electric Humvees, multi-directional. I mean, they're going to be just all unhinged, man. Completely unhinged. That's what's going to happen. Moving on. Okay. You know what? Speaking of Digit, so cute. Digit from Agility Robotics. Whoever runs their social media page, kudos to you. Digit posted, "Do you need a new wallpaper for hot bot summer?" And it's a picture of a little Digit standing there. It's so cute. And I said, man, who running this account? And they said, maybe it's Digit. It's impossible to know for sure. And that's just fantastic. That's great. And you know what? I'm gonna end this podcast on that note. I believe that's all we're going to cover today. It's a lot to take in, and it's exciting times. So with that, may your AI be friendly and your robots well-oiled or hydrated or what have you, electrified. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.